Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the hardest, most mental World of Warcraft challenge of all time. And that challenge is to level 1 to 60 on a warrior without dying, without equipping any weapons, without equipping any armor, and you got to do it on classic WoW vanilla World of Warcraft. And all of the hardcore rules apply. No trading, no auction house, no mailbox, everything like that. If you're sat there thinking there's absolutely no chance that this is even possible, well, it's actually kind of already been done by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Voivid. I will link his Twitch and YouTube, obviously, in the description down below. He's actually already done this challenge, but with weapons, with all the other rules applied, and he's now level 59, doing the no weapons and no armor challenge. And he should be hitting level 60 on the Easter Sunday coming up this week, so again, tune into his Twitch if you want to check that out. And the other day I basically interviewed him, asking him, you know, the why, the how, and all the details like that, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Now the main reason why Voivid is doing this is he's just kind of bored of playing the same game over and over again for 8 years and wants to keep on challenging himself. He started off making Warlock PvP videos and Warlock PvP streams where he basically will run around with absolutely no gear on in Warsong Gulch owning people, and then that turned into, well, why not do the hardcore leveling challenge 1 to 60 but do it totally naked. First of all, he did it with a Warlock. When he did the Warlock challenge, it was, again, no armor, no weapons or anything like that. He wasn't allowed any professions, wasn't allowed any buffs from other people. The only thing he was allowed was first aid. And he actually one-shotted that challenge in 10 days played, which shows how overpowered Warlocks really are leveling in vanilla World of Warcraft. Then someone joked around on his stream saying, you know, that's not even impressive enough, mate. Why not do the Naked Warrior challenge? So he decided, yeah, you know what, I'll do that. Why not? He leveled a warrior with weapons but absolutely no armor. He died at level 17, level 32, level 34, level 37, level 42, and then eventually got to level 60. And as you can probably imagine, when he got to level 42, he wasn't too happy about it and decided to destroy his computer. But how has Voivid managed to level all the way up to 59 so far? Hopefully he doesn't die before he gets to level 60, with absolutely no armor, no weapons, on a warrior, in a single life. So first of all, herbalism and alchemy, first aid, cooking and fishing, they are all totally maxed. You basically cannot do this challenge without having every elixir possible and every food buff possible that you can find. So this is the elixir of major defense, greater agility, ogre strength, troll blood, fortitude, monster's omelette, and everything like that. It's also important to note that the food buffs from the Valentine's event were also very useful for this challenge. Now 1 to 40, all he can really do is charge in there, use demo shout to obviously reduce the damage being taken, and then thunderclap, and that is it. Because a lot of warrior abilities, well, they require you to actually have a weapon equipped. So you can't even use barely any abilities. This means he can only really take on very, very low level enemies, so ideally 5 levels below him, but better off taking on enemies that are 6 levels below. And it will literally take him more or less 1 minute to take down every single enemy, and by the end of defeating that enemy, he's most of the time going to be 10 to 20% HP left. So it's like every pull, you are extremely close to death, and obviously it is very, very nerve-wracking. So far, Voivid has managed to do this for 27 days played from the launch of Season of Mastery. Luckily at level 40, you can also use Bloodthirst in rotation. It makes it slightly easier, but it's not really that much easier. And because you have to eat food at the end of every single pull, it also means that you have to buy and make a lot of food because your gold is just getting constantly drained. Every kill, again, is a minute long, so you're taking damage for a very long period of time. Other things that come in useful while doing this challenge is Slumber Sand, Rage Potions, Intimidating Shout, Piercing Shout, Last Stand, Retaliation, Health Potions obviously, but most of the time he is also actually in Battle Stance, With the Warrior with Weapons challenge, Voivid pretty much just did grinding all the way to level 1 to 60, but with the Season of Mastery buff introduced this time round, it was more valuable to actually do quests, but obviously you could only do quests where the mobs are 5 to 6 levels below him. And the most important thing when it came to picking quests and picking grinding routes is the space between enemies. You know, things like Murloc camps, Null camps, completely out of the question. Because he doesn't want mobs to spawn on him, he doesn't want to double pull, because if he pulls 2 mobs at once, that's it. Game over, challenge over, start all over again. So a good example of this will be the yellow turtles near South Shore. He also needed the turtle meat from that, but he grinded that for a very long time because those mobs are neutral, so they're not going to like social pull or anything like that. It's very safe to do that. You've also got the gorillas. He's currently grinding gorillas on the island at STV, because what he can do is he can jump into the water to escape those gorillas, because those gorillas won't swim. And in general, he did try to grind on enemies that are close to water, because you can just jump into the water, totally reset the fight, and it also saves you from getting griefed. A lot of people have been trying to grief him, like hunters pulling mobs and feign deathing on him to get him to, double pull, but luckily he's managed to avoid all that. Ideally, he did have to grind a lot of beasts as well, because he needed their meat for cooking, because again, you have to eat at the end of every single pull, so he needed a lot of food, and also needed to keep his food buff going. The food buff is only 15 minutes in vanilla, so he had to make a lot of those items. Another good mob he grinded on was the Moonkin mobs in the hinterlands, because they drop really good eggs that can be transformed into the monster omelette, which is a good stamina buff. Also important to note that he was level 48 when the experience from quests was buffed from 40% to 100%. But the main important thing about doing this challenge is having more health than the other mob, being able to survive, but also having a really good exit plan, because a number of situations he's just going to be getting stomped on by a mob and he can just sense that I'm not going to survive this, I need to get out of here. But he told me how the hardest part of this challenge, obviously the challenge itself and the gameplay itself is extremely difficult, like you're basically every single pull you're near to death. But the hardest part of this is honestly the mental torture and the patience. I mean, can you imagine how tedious, repetitive and boring this challenge is? And Voivid's managed to do it for 27 days. It's basically taken up, he worked out, it's taken up a quarter of his life since the Season of Mastery launch. Another thing that really didn't help is how there's no world buffs knocking about, because people don't really use them anymore in Season of Mastery, because you can't use them in raids obviously. But when he ever got buffs like Priest Fortitude or Mark of the Wild, they're extremely powerful, particularly Mark of the Wild, because you've got to think about it, he has absolutely no armour. So when he gets a Mark of the Wild buff, he does actually have some armour and some damage mitigation. And if you can believe it, he's only actually died once and had to start all over again on this challenge. He had to do all the starter zone quests, he had to do all the quests in the Barrens, he had to do all the cloth turn-ins. It started to get harder about level 20 because of being limited about, to what zones you can go to, which are low level. He also did a lot of fishing, I mean a lot of fishing, just to get money for his mount. Obviously you want a mount when you get to level 40. His talent build was deep into Fury and then off into Protection as he got past level 40. He did all the quests in Stranglethorn Vale at about level 40. And what's actually funny is, obviously because Voivid's grinding a lot, he's found a number of crazy world epics in the open world, like the Freezing Band, and just deleted them. Because he can't use them, so... And that's pretty much all of the information I can talk about when it comes to the challenge. If you want to go and check out Voivid, again, I'll leave everything in the description down below. He's going to smash level 60 on Sunday. I've been watching Voivid for a very long time now. He's one of my favourite streamers, partly because he's just a little bit crazy and a little bit unorthodox, I have to say. For instance, his last sub incentive was eating dog food on stream, and I think before that he had to eat a whole tub of mayonnaise. And before that he shaved his head, he's eating fish food on stream, he's counting to 46,000 on stream. Don't ask me why. He's also drank 35 beers on stream. Honestly, you would never be disappointed or bored when you watch a Voivid stream. You're always going to be amused, somewhat, and entertained, and surprised. It's much more entertaining than watching some streamer do the same raid for the millionth time. So I'll give him a quick follow in the description down below. But anyway guys, my name is MetaGoblin. To my next video. Ciao.